oftentimes it's important to take a holistic approach toward entities and information and individuals and programs in our community. And today it's particularly important to approach this interview from a holistic angle because there are so many things about this individual and her family that are relevant to our community, relevant to medical health, relevant to the rearing of children, just all kind of relevancy. So I thought it would not be robbery to kind of intermingle from a holistic perspective information relative to our guest today in the person of Dr. Monique Davis Smith, who is with Atrium Health, and I'm gonna let her tell what she does. But our primary focus is going to be women's health. But I want to begin it with a little biographical information because of the way uh, that that she and her family, tie in to making this a better community. So we're going to begin with a little biographical data, although she's here to talk about women's health, and although she's representing Atrium Health, but it's important that we learn a little bit more about you and your family, Dr. Smith. So if you would kind of kick it off with some biographical information about you and your family.
So in the beginning, there was heaven and earth, but now I won't go back that far. So I am a native daughter, I would dare say, of Macon. By Albany, Georgia is home, but I am 2154 Neal Avenue bred. So out of the hills of Pleasant Hill, if you will, the Davis family, Ruth and Gordon Davis are my grandparents. Congressional Medal of Honor recipient Rodney Maxwell Davis is uncle. I'm the daughter of Josephine Davis and Gordon Davis, a Boy Scout, my father by trade, and my mother an educator. And graduated Southwest High School 1986. And been back in Macon for over 20 years now. My husband, Dr. Jimmy Smith, is with the Bibb County Health Department. And as Mr. Habersham has stated, 3, I guess we will call them adult children now, products of Bibb County Public School in Mount DeSales. But oldest daughter graduated Central and is in a doctoral program at University of Delaware studying plant soil science. Middle daughter, graduate of Central High School, is also a graduate of Georgia Tech, is doing work with Boston Scientific now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the youngest son, as Mr. Habersham described, Gordon, Eagle Scout, here with a wonderful project at Luther Williamsville, highlighting the Negro League baseball players in the Middle Georgia area, is a student at Morehouse. And wow. Involved in several community activities because, to be healthy people, you have to live in a healthy place. So working to have people being healthy inside their homes, inside their workplaces, and in the communities where they live. I don't know, is that enough? Is that what you wanted me to say?
That was nothing short of phenomenal. And I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I hope, because what we try to do with a call to action is try to, first of all, espouse, if you please, on good things that's happening in the community, and espouse on the importance of family, and talk about the advantage of really caring about our community and being proud of our community and our heritage, like you are. So although you are a medical doctor, it's important. And it just shows the community that you can be successful and involved in several different elements of the community. You can have a successful family. And I know you're going to talk about resources that are available from a health perspective for
Mhm.
women. But I want to talk about, since that's supposed to be our topic for today, and since we've
Okay.
taken care, look, since we've had the appetizer,
Uh-huh.
we'll go ahead into the entree,
Okay.
which is women's health. And then the thing that's important, Dr. Smith, is that oftentimes we suffer because of the lack of information.
Mhm.
Because there are so many resources available in our community, not only as it relates to physical health, but psychological health, mental health, and in other areas that are important to healthy living and
Mhm.
a meaningful life. But we want to talk about health today, in particular, all the women's health. And, I want you to begin by talking about healthy habits. I mean, when people, because you are a doctor, I think that you are just as concerned about not being in a situation where you have to treat somebody,
Mhm.
you know, as you are about advising them on what one needs to do, what women need to do in order to not need treatment. Because I'm certain that there are actions that we can, and I'm talking to myself, I'm looking at myself on this camera
Mhm.
as I talk about actions that we as individuals can take. And I'm trying, Doc. I'm a
Yes.
little better, but I'm getting there. But at least I realize the relationship between
Mhm.
actions and habits and health.
Yes.
So if you would talk a little bit about healthy living and how that contributes to not needing to see, not needing to be treated anyway by
Yeah.
Dr. Monique Davis Smith.
So, and I would there's so I say everyone needs a doctor, much like I even say right now, everyone really needs a therapist. But um, I think that there is room. Uh, I know that there is room and need for healthcare when you're healthy and healthcare when you're not well.
Right.
And I think it's a challenge, and even to address the elephant in the room, it's like telling people pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but you don't even have boots. And so part of it is acknowledging the role that systemic racism, systemic isms have in people not being well. And if we're going to tell people, okay, I need you to improve your habits, you have to have healthy habits and a healthy place to have healthy habits.
Right, right.
And so if your housing is insecure, if your bellies are empty, not just full with unhealthy things, but empty, and if you don't have safe places to walk or to exercise or feel safe out walking and exercising, it's
Wow.
hard to develop healthy habits. So it is very all interconnected. And what I would say are kind of important things to help reduce your need to see me. That whole apple a day keeps the doctor away is hogwash. The stuff that helps keep, I don't really want to say keeps doctors away, but helps you to sustain healthy, victorious living, regular sleep, whatever that looks like for you. So like 6 consecutive hours at a minimum, perhaps a day. Regular watering, so hydrating yourself with water, not water that's been steeped with tea or water that's been sweetened with sugar and lemons added, or waters that are ice cube that melt in brown liquor, but some water. Just a good old glass of water. So, and whatever is enough water, there you go. I was going to hold up my glass of water. So, but water, and whatever is enough water for you, you should drink enough water so that when you go and urinate, that the toilet water is just a little yellow. It shouldn't be, you know, you should just be able to tell perhaps that you've urinated. That's when you know you've had enough water. That's how much water is enough for you. And what's enough water for me, maybe too much water for someone else and not enough water for the next person. So resting well, sleeping well, watering yourself well, because rest and sleep are not the same, and exercising well, or at least being physically active, would be the things that would help prevent or ward off most illnesses. And then the other thing is meditation, whatever that is for you. I am a Christian and I stand strong on my faith in God and spend a lot of time in prayer and meditation with Him. But whatever is meditation for you that brings some inner peace or calm are the things that would help sustain health.
Talk a little bit about encourage everybody really, but women in particular, to seek, that there are resources out there, that can kind of assist, and sometimes it does not hinge on your economic status, because we want a healthy community. One thing about Macon, Georgia, we got as quiet as it's kept, we have got quite a few good things going on. You know what I'm saying? And there are resources, there are jobs, there's location. Speaking of water, it's purported that we got the best tasting water in the country. So it's no excuse for not drinking the water.
Yeah.
But, just kind of encourage and educate us on an approach to take, to utilize resources and how we should act and react when we think that we are having medicinal problem.
Okay. And so as we're discussing women's health care, some resources that are available for health care with women. So my bias really work with Atrium, so Atrium Healthcare, and having a good primary care doctor. I am the family medicine residency program director and a practicing family physician. So I'm biased towards family medicine even, but I would say a good primary care doctor is something that everyone needs, and particularly women, to see, at least if you're healthy, at least once a year, to go for an annual physical. And what that might look like is, what's your blood pressure like? How's your blood sugar look? What's your cholesterol look like? And for them to ask you those questions about, are you sleeping okay? Are you exercising regularly? Have you seen a dentist, and have you seen an eye doctor? And if you're uninsured or underinsured, there's still room for you at those facilities. And also federally qualified health centers, First Choice Primary, the health department is a wonderful place to go for resources, the Macon Volunteer Clinic. So there are many resources and opportunities that are available for the insured, the uninsured, and the underinsured to seek and have a establishment of a relationship with the primary care doctor.
Outstanding. Now, let's talk, if you would, about the dominant diseases that affect women. I know statistically there are some diseases that are more prevalent than other in women, and not only talk about them, but if you would, talk about some of the signs, or some of the actions, even if they are not signs, because I know that sometimes, there can be signs, there could not be signs as it relates to, and I'm not the doctor now. I'm not.
But you say stay in your lane.
look at. I ain't faking it. Okay, I'm just going from general.
Well, so it depends, right? So that's the beauty, I guess, of family medicine. Talk about women across their lifespan. So for young women, kids, the thing most important in that age group is making sure they have calcium and vitamin D and building strong bones. Disease that we talk about in older women, osteoporosis or osteopenia, thinning of the bones, is actually something that you need to start working on when you're kids, because you lie down your bone from kind of birth up into your mid-20s. So making sure you're getting enough calcium, vitamin D, and weight-bearing exercise in your youth so you can have healthy bones as you get older. The other things that are issues for the young adult women are sexually transmitted diseases. So having responsible sexual behavior, being responsible for your own reproductive health and your own sexual health. So making sure you're using condoms, that you're choosing responsible partners, that you're in safe relationships. So domestic violence can be, my gosh, it would be wonderful if we could just make it go away or it not exist. But because it is something that is an issue, particularly in those age ranges, things to think about. And maintaining good oral health. So brushing your teeth regularly and flossing. And obesity is an issue in all age ranges now. So eating healthy and exercising regularly and sleeping well. That's something we don't think about as it relates to obesity, but not getting enough sleep can be a reason why people are not losing weight. I'm talking about women, but as we're here, I'll talk particularly women of color. Stress is a really big deal, and the cortisol that develops in your body because of that, and how your body reacts to stress. So learning how to manage, one, identify your stress, and if it's something that you can, as that serenity prayer lets us know, can you change it? Can you accept it, or can you walk away from it to figure out where you fit with it? And if it's a stress that you can change, do what you can do to change it. What's in your sphere of influence? If it's something you can't change, but it is changeable, who can you talk to that can change it? Register to vote, get some other people in office, a whole lot of things that can kind of take a part of that. Or if it's something you need to kind of cut bait and walk away from it. In some ways to kind of help manage that stress as it relates to that. Other disease processes that show themselves, you talk about the cardiovascular disease, so hypertension, diabetes, and elevated cholesterol. Those are related to that diet, weight loss kind of things that we discussed before. But some of it really is just genetic too. And so recognizing, having a conversation with your families about things that we've perhaps not talked about before, and making it an okay conversation to talk about the illnesses in the family, so you know what things and how to eat better, sleep better, or get screened for earlier if it's an issue. And as we're talking screening, then in those preventive health needs, cervical cancer screening at the age of 21 with their pap smears, mammogram screening beginning in your 40s, or depending on if there's a family history of breast cancer, when screenings might start sooner. And then colon cancer screening beginning at the age of 45 or sooner if there's a family history of that disease process.
Well, that's so very. Let me ask you a question, Doc, about cancer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, lately, even in our own community, several individuals, I mean, some of them fairly young, a very, very noted personality in our community, recently passed from cancer. And one was kind of old, several individuals, close friends of mine, passed from cancer. And what I want to ask you is, can cancer be detected from a blood test? I mean, how can we, as individuals who know that that we could get it or may have it, what's the best way to address that cancer as it relates to recognition, prevention, and treatment?
So cancer is like saying, when you think about it as a disease process, like saying an automobile or a vehicle. So if we're describing it, and I'm not trying to minimize cancer in any means, but just to say cancer is just like saying I have a vehicle. It could be a truck, it could be a motorcycle, it could be, so it's a big theme. And so it's like, well, what type of cancer? And then even in the type of cancer, what specifics might even be related to that with kind of receptors or hormones or whatever that might be associated with that particular cancer. So that's a too broad of a terminology to be able to describe in that area. And so the short answer to your question, you ask, are there blood tests to identify some cancers? The short answer to that is yes. The long answer to that, oh, wow, it's so much more complicated. So some cancers you can screen for, and some cancers there are no screening tests for yet. And research is still out on that. Some cancers, though, can be detected early, and some cancers can be prevented, and some cancers are not preventable. They just are something that will occur. So it really depends. And so I mentioned 3 types of cancers earlier: cervical cancer, colon cancer, and breast cancer. And so there are screenings that are available for those cancers as they relate to common cancers, if you will, that can be found in women. And actually, there's screening for lung cancer now with the CT scan, and that's recommended for people who've had several years, pack years of smoking, that they would do a screening CT scan every year to try to identify lung cancer early. So my long answer, my real short answer is that cancer sucks. And the complicated answer with cancer screening is that there are cancer screenings that are available that are considered preventable services. And under the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, it was recommended that the Preventive Services Task Force screening things are included in your basic insurance policies, if you will. And so those types of screening tests can and should occur and are covered by your insurance as part of your well adult visits, or should be.
Yeah, well, that's so important. And I know we're getting close on time, but if you would, just kind of do a fireside chat for women who may be privileged. And I'm going to say that again, privileged, to hear this interview because the information is so important. So just take the next 2 or 3 minutes and just kind of have a fireside chat, specifically for women as it relates to living a healthy life, the steps that one should take in order to assure it, what kind of direction, what kind of actions, although you briefly mentioned them, but just kind of wrap it up because the objective is because you're talking about women's health. Then you just want to put out information out there that will motivate. I'll say that again. Motivate, women and other individuals to be concerned about healthy living a meaningful life. And you've given me pointers. So it's just not only applicable to women, but to other individuals also. So us men will pick up something from that chat that will be applicable to us.
Okay. Well, the thing I would say first is thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to the community and women in particular about their health. And what I would say to the women and men and people listening is that first, you're worthy of it. You deserve to be healthy, whatever that healthy looks like to you, but you deserve to have access to good health care. And so I would say, and there is good healthcare, excellent healthcare available in the community. So I would say take advantage of it. Find where you fit in and find a provider who can hear you and help you be a healthier version of yourself. And I say that word provider, I don't really like it. I like physician because that's what I am. But that's what we're called now, healthcare providers. So anyway, I digress. But I would tell you to take it that one, you're worthy of good health care. And so to go and access it. And B, take ownership of the things that you can do without even seeing a physician, the things that you could do before you get there. If you could, try to find access, if you don't have a safe place to live or fresh, safe water to drink, if you're not able to find adequate food, there are resources that are available for that. Food is medicine is a resource that's available that you can go and have access to healthy foods. We have a food bank that's here. There's resources that are available to assist with housing and other resources that are available actually to access healthcare. So I would say find those resources and tap into them. There are people and places that are open and willing to help. But the other things that you can do, move something, get up and walk. On the first Saturday of every month, we have a Walk with the Doc event at Emerson Park. It's a Facebook page. I'm there most of the first Saturdays if I'm not out of town or at another meeting. And we share information about a health topic, and then we walk. So you can, or you could ride a bicycle, or you could wheel in a wheelchair, whatever it is you need to do to get around there, to get some movement done. But move something. Whatever it is, move something. Fidget, exercise. I keep weights under my desk, so I have some hand weights here. I keep an elastiband, so if I'm sitting here, I'll just do some exercise. Fidget, move something.
Wow. Well,
and pray, meditate, release yourself, forgive yourself, and forgive people. That causes a lot of unwellness, mental unwellness. So forgive and be forgiven.
Okay, Doc, well, let me just say to you that the information has been nothing short of phenomenal. And I really, really appreciate, all the valuable information that you're giving us. And I'm serious about writing that article for the new Making Black pages. So I will be in touch with you as it relates to that. Is there a resource where people can call, or is there a website that they can go and get general information that's kind of connected to what you were telling us?
I don't know. I can't say that right off the top. I know so the health department has wonderful resources that are available. There's My Atrium Health, or the Atrium Health page has links to resources that are available. But I will look into that, and I will send that to you so that you can have that and share.
Well, we could run it across the screen.
Okay.
On the show. Okay. This is the Call to Action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Dr. Monique Davis Smith, who has done nothing short of a phenomenal job in expounding information about not only women's health, but health in general. I want to again take the opportunity to congratulate you and thank you and your family for the role that you all are playing in making this a better community. This is a Call to Action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com